Fasting has long been a sacred practice within Christianity, a journey of self-discipline, reflection, and spiritual renewal that stretches back through the centuries. It is a tradition that connects believers not only to their own personal faith, but also to a rich tapestry of history, culture, and shared human experience. Today, we explore the diverse ways in which Christians observe fasting, how these practices have evolved from ancient traditions, and even the surprising influence of mystical traditions that cross the boundaries of faith. At its heart, fasting is more than merely abstaining from food or specific items. It is an intentional pause from everyday life that allows the spirit to focus on prayer, meditation, and a deeper connection with God. The practice has its roots in the ancient world, with traditions that predate Christianity itself. In the Jewish tradition, fasting was an integral part of repentance and spiritual purification, a time when individuals sought to humble themselves before God. This legacy carried forward into early Christianity, where Jesus' own 40-day fast in the wilderness set a profound example for his followers. His journey of solitude and spiritual fortitude demonstrated that fasting was not about the mere act of denying the body, but about opening oneself to the divine presence and deepening one's faith. Over the centuries, as Christianity spread and diversified, so too did the ways in which its adherents practiced fasting. Each denomination has developed its own unique calendar and set of rules, a reflection of its theology, cultural context, and understanding of what it means to prepare oneself spiritually. For many Roman Catholics, fasting is a highly structured part of the liturgical calendar. The observance of fasting on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday is both a mark of penance and a call to renewal. On these solemn days, Catholics between the ages of 18 and 59 are encouraged to eat only one full meal, supplemented by two smaller meals that, together, do not equal the size of a full meal. The act of fasting is further intensified by the requirement of abstinence from meat, not only on these designated days, but also on every Friday during the season of Lent. This period of 40 days leading up to Easter is imbued with symbolism. It echoes the 40 days Jesus spent in the desert and invites believers to reflect on sacrifice, mortality, and redemption. For Catholics, the disciplined observance of fasting becomes a tangible expression of faith, a way to share in the sufferings of Christ while preparing the heart for the joy of resurrection. In contrast, the Eastern Orthodox Church embraces a far more rigorous and all-encompassing approach to fasting. Orthodox Christians follow a fasting schedule that extends well beyond specific days and events. Throughout the year, believers are encouraged to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays, a practice that symbolizes both the betrayal and the crucifixion of Jesus. But the observance does not stop there. The Orthodox tradition includes extended fasting periods that mark significant spiritual milestones. Great Lent, which is a season of profound reflection and preparation before Easter, the Nativity fast, which leads up to Christmas, the Apostles' fast following Pentecost, and the Dormition fast in early August. During these times, the faithful often adopt a diet that excludes meat, dairy products, eggs, and sometimes even oil and wine. The intensity of these fasts is not meant to be a test of endurance for its own sake, but serves as a way to clear the mind and body, making room for a deeper communion with the divine. Every bite forgone is a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice and is a step towards spiritual cleansing. The traditions of the Anglican and Methodist churches, while sharing common roots with Catholic and Orthodox practices, often adopt a more flexible approach to fasting. For many Anglicans, the act of fasting, particularly on Fridays and during the Lenten season, is observed more as a personal commitment than a strictly regulated ritual. The Anglican tradition, influenced by centuries of Western Christian thought, sees fasting as a means of drawing closer to God without the imposition of rigid dietary laws. Similarly, Methodists, following in the footsteps of John Wesley, view fasting as an essential component of spiritual discipline. Wesley himself was known for his rigorous approach to fasting, which typically extended from Thursday evening until Friday evening. For many Methodists, the fast is not only about refraining from food, but also about renouncing distractions and focusing on prayer, study, and acts of charity. The flexibility inherent in these traditions allows each individual to tailor their observance to their personal journey of faith, emphasizing the transformative power of self-denial. Within the broader spectrum of Protestant Christianity, fasting takes on a variety of forms. Unlike the well-defined rituals of Catholic or Orthodox traditions, many Protestant communities view fasting as an act of personal devotion, a practice to be undertaken at one's own pace and according to one's own understanding of spiritual need. Some Protestant denominations encourage fasting during the season of Lent, while others leave it entirely up to the individual believer. In many cases, the fast might not involve strict abstention from food altogether, but could instead mean giving up particular luxuries, habits, or distractions. Whether it is foregoing social media, limiting television time, or abstaining from a favourite treat, these modern interpretations of fasting are seen as a way to simplify one's life, reduce dependency on worldly comforts, and open up space for introspection and prayer. The essence of the practice remains the same. By removing the unnecessary, the soul is given room to grow, to seek clarity, and to connect with something far greater than itself. Delving deeper into the practical aspects of fasting, it becomes evident that this ancient practice is as varied as the individuals who observe it. For many, the act of fasting is intertwined with prayer and meditation, a quiet period of the day when one sets aside the rush of modern life to engage in heartfelt communication with God. In some traditions, the fast is seen as a form of penance, a way to atone for sins and to remind oneself of the fragility of human life. In others, it is a proactive pursuit of spiritual enlightenment, a deliberate choice to step back from the material world in order to perceive the subtle workings of the divine. Each discipline, whether it is the strict vegan-like fast of the Orthodox believer or the personal, flexible approach of many Protestants, speaks to a common desire to transcend the physical realm and tap into a deeper reservoir of spiritual insight and strength. One of the most intriguing developments in the landscape of modern Christian spirituality is the emergence of what some have come to call Sufi Christians. Although Sufism is traditionally associated with the mystical dimensions of Islam, its emphasis on inner purity, meditation, and the pursuit of divine union has resonated with a number of Christians seeking a more experiential connection with God. These individuals, sometimes informally referred to as Sufi Christians, are not part of any formal denomination. Instead, they draw inspiration from Sufi practices, such as the rhythmic repetition of sacred phrases, deep meditative reflection, and an emphasis on love as a path to the divine, and integrate these elements into their own Christian worship. The synthesis of these traditions is not without its challenges, given the distinct theological frameworks from which they arise. However, the common ground lies in a shared quest for the transcendent, a mutual yearning to experience the divine presence in everyday life. For these seekers, the boundaries between different spiritual paths blur, revealing an underlying unity that transcends religious labels. Their journey is a testament to the enduring power of mysticism, a reminder that sometimes the most profound insights come not from rigid adherence to tradition, but from an open heart willing to explore the vast, mysterious landscape of faith. Throughout history, fasting has often been a catalyst for transformation. In moments of personal crisis or communal hardship, the act of fasting has provided a means to refocus, to seek guidance, and to find solace in the promise of spiritual renewal. The discipline required to fast is not merely about denying oneself physical nourishment. It is an invitation to nourish the soul. In these periods of intentional deprivation, believers report experiencing a heightened sense of clarity, a deeper empathy for the suffering of others, and a more profound appreciation for the blessings of life. It is as if, by temporarily setting aside the distractions of the material world, the mind and heart are freed to engage in a truer, more authentic dialogue with the divine. The diversity of fasting practices within Christianity is reflective of the broader diversity of the faith itself. In the structured and communal settings of the Catholic and Orthodox churches, fasting serves as a visible marker of shared belief and collective identity. The very act of observing a fast on a specific day connects individuals to a long lineage of faith, linking them to ancestors who have walked the same path of sacrifice and devotion. In these traditions, the fast is both a personal and communal experience, a time when the individual's journey becomes interwoven with the collective narrative of the Church. The palpable sense of unity and purpose that emerges during these periods is a powerful reminder that despite the many differences that may separate us in everyday life, we are all bound by the common thread of our search for meaning and transcendence. For many Christians, the decision to fast is also an act of rebellion against the excesses of modern society. In a world that often values consumption over contemplation, the disciplined choice to abstain from food or other indulgences is a radical reminder that there is more to life than the endless pursuit of material comfort. Fasting becomes a countercultural statement, a declaration that true fulfillment comes not from the accumulation of wealth or possessions, but from a life lived in service, reflection, and gratitude. In choosing to fast, many believers are making a conscious effort to reclaim a sense of balance and purpose, to create a space where the sacred can be acknowledged amidst the noise of the everyday.